everyone, I'm back and today is apparently the 185th birthday for Melbourne. So I'm making a cake that's going to be super easy. It's one of my go-to quick cakes, and the reason I don't measure everything out specifically is just to prove and show how quick and easy these recipes can be. So we're going to get started by heating the oven to 170, fan forced, and then we'll take it from there. It's going to be a moist orange poppy seed cake. One bowl to mix everything in, that's it. Okay, so 170, let's go. Rightio, let's get the first thing happening, which is let's melt some butter. Okay, as usual, we've got the scales, we've got the butter. Let's measure some out. For most people, you'll know 50 grams of butter is about this. So we need 185 grams. So I reckon somewhere along those lines. Perfect, 185 grams of butter. And we are going to microwave that to melt it. We're going to melt the butter and then we'll take the rest of it to the food processor. Okay, let's microwave that. I usually don't put it on high so that I don't overboil the butter, but let's go 2 minutes on power 7 or something like that. Okay, putting that aside, what else do we need? We need the oranges. This is the really simple part of this cake. And we just need to roughly chop. I've got 2 oranges here, but I'm only going to roughly chop one of the oranges. Of course, as I said, pre-washed. So we just need to very quickly chop. It doesn't really matter what the chop looks like because it's all just going into the food processor, peel, pith and all. So let's just get started on that. Okay, of course washed hands as we said previously, and that's that done. So we'll just quickly pulse those. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so let's go. Yeah, that was pretty loud. Okay, to that we are going to add 1 cup of sugar. Okay. So again, I'm not pre-measuring before because I don't think, I want to show and prove that it's really super easy and quick to get these things done. And it's going to take 1.5 of self-raising flour, so we don't have to do the whole palaver of plain flour and baking powder. So there's 1.5 cups of plain flour right there. And it's going to take poppy seeds. Okay, so, and the eggs and the butter. It all goes into the one bowl, as I mentioned. So that's all done. Just pop that into the bowl. And I'm just going to crack the eggs into here so that we don't end up with any shells. If I went directly into the food processor, we might end up with some shells. So we're not going to do it directly in there. Rightio, so that's that. Now that butter's a bit warm, so I'm not going to put it directly in there. I'll just do the flour next so as that I can sort of cool it down a bit. And the eggs. Mum, spatula. There we go. So the eggs, that's done. And the last thing we need is 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds. So let's just get our measuring doober out. Measuring spoon, not a doober. There's 1 and there's 2. Poppy seeds don't even have a flavour. I don't even know what they're used for, but it makes it look pretty, so I like it. That's it, we're done. Okay, so all we're doing is pouring that into the pre-prepared tray. We're going to take out the blades and then spoon off the sides. Maybe not with Mum's spatula, but we will use a bit of a, don't want to get rid of it. I I don't like wasting anything. So, you know, I see chefs who just chuck things in the sink with heaps of dough and batter on it, and it really sort of annoys me. So try not to waste too much. Here, bringing my spatula out, my silicone-based spatch. So give it just another quick stir, make sure it's right. Just pour it in. That's going to cook at 170 for 45 minutes. That's it, we're popping it in the oven at 170 for 45 minutes. See you soon. Okay, this is not going to be overly scientific, so here we go. We're just going to make some really nice thin slices of orange, so as that we can, as I mentioned, we're going to pop on top of the cake at the end of it as decoration. So because a few might fall apart, we don't know yet until we cook it. We always do a few extra. So that's that. We're simply popping them in a pot. Okay. About half a cup of water, and we're just going to do, just going to be measured by the eye. That's about a third of a cup of, almost a third of a cup of sugar. And that's it. We're just going to leave that on simmer for about half an hour, I reckon, but I'll let you know when I come back. That's the oranges for the decoration. I think that's about done, so we'll just switch that off. And now for the cake. Basically it said 45 minutes, but it's until the skewer comes out clean. So we're just going to test it with a very careful poke of the cookie. And that's clean, so let's switch that off. Beautiful, and take that out of the oven, and we'll leave that to cool for a bit before taking it out of the spring pan. Hi, I'm back. Cake assembly time. Okay, so there was no toil, no trouble in putting this cake together. As you saw, you could have thrown it all into the food processor at once, but remember, use the blade so that you can chop the oranges first. Okay, so cake is substantially cooler now, so we're just going to put it on a nice little serving plate. I'm also now going to brush with some of that juice from the some of the syrup from the oranges that I made. That'll do. And here are the oranges. I've cut them in half so as that we can, you know, make it a bit prettier. So just place those onto the keki, and we'll be able to cut a slice and show you what it looks like inside. But as you saw, this was a really, really simple recipe, and I have a reputation in the house of doing this when we've only got a minute to spare and I want to take a cake. So I say, right, I'm just going to quickly put a cake together. This is one of those quickly put a cake together type of situations. So that's that. Now we're going to slice into it and have a look at the results of this cake. Let's see how that came out. Just stick your fingers. Yeah, it's still a bit steamy because I'm keen to get out of the house. Okay, so that's what the end result is. That's it. That is a moist orange poppy seed cake that we're going to have such a nice time eating afternoon tea. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you make it. Let me know how it turns out. Thanks. See you next time.